Tut, Queen Tut, yes. What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another amazing and impactful episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we shall live our best life through lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, and as usual, I have with me my bride, my star, the curls popping queen herself. Please introduce yourself.
What's up, party people? My name is Sinclair, aka
The
Health Nerd. Here joining you on a hot Sunday afternoon.
You don't even know. You don't even know.
It looks hot. You said it was hot, so trust you.
Oh goodness,
If
it
you
is hot
experienced
outside.
That it was hot, then we experienced.
Yeah,
it was hot.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I was sitting here on the couch like,
whew. Is that what it is?
Oh.
Goodness, help me, please.
Help me, please. Water.
Oh, goodness. But today's episode, right? I think we don't always let the health nerd run free. I feel like we usually got the reins on. Like, no, Sinclair, that's too much. No, don't do that. Today's episode, the health nerd is gonna dive deep into what is bio individuality. Right? We talk about true health forever all the time. And when we say true health, we're really talking about like everyone's health journey, everyone's health experience is definitely true and specific to them. And there's actually a term called bio individuality that goes through that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Get your pen out, be ready. If you're driving, do not get your pen out. 10 to 2, stay focused, and you can come back later on and take some notes. Queen, after you sip this pu'er tea, are you ready?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to talk about what I'm drinking today.
Go ahead.
Pu'er tea.
That's it? Oh, my goodness.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, you're done. You're cut off officially right now. Let's get into the episode. All right, we're out. Yeah, no, I'm not dealing with your foolishness today, Sinclair. But definition. That's usually where we start out.
This means that you deal with my foolishness.
Foolishness? No, that means I deal with you as a holistic person.
Which includes my foolishness.
Includes, yes, but I am not going to limit the dealings today to just the foolishness. See, yesterday we did the Married into Crazy podcast, which was great. We're doing back-to-back, podcast episodes. I played basketball back-to-back. My body's still feeling pretty good because I stretched both days and got my electrolytes in. You feel me? But the topic for the day, Sinclair, is bio individuality.
And how to embrace your bio individuality. It's one thing to know what it is. Mm-hmm. It's another thing to know how to embrace it. What do you do with it?
Talk to him.
Okay, so can I... Is it?
You're gone.
Okay.
Ready, set, go.
So first thing, I always want to start off with like making sure we're all talking about the same thing, right? When you're listening, we don't want to just start diving into how to embrace bio individuality. We haven't even talked about what it is. So we can put the graphic on the screen, please. So basically, bio individuality means there is not a one size fits all approach or a diet. Each person is a unique individual with highly individualized nutritional requirements. Mm-hmm. In bio-individuality, we recognize each individual body will differ in their nutritional needs as a result of their external and internal factors, like the foods we eat, our emotional thoughts, our lifestyle patterns, and our surrounding physical environment.
There it is. So that was a lot to unpack. So for the folks listening, we're going to say bits and pieces of that again, not the whole thing. And then for the folks watching, let's go ahead and throw up that graphic just to support the visual learners that we have. All right, Queen, let's break that down a little bit.
Yep. So the first thing was there is not a one size fits all diet. Mm-hmm. So we all know there's a million diets out there right now.
1,000,005, actually.
1,000,005. You've got vegetarian, you've got vegan, you've got paleo, you've got carnivore, you've got keto, you've got cannibal.
That technically, that is a form of diet.
Do people actually follow that?
People that I know? No. But I'm just saying.
I'm not even going to count that one as one, but
Okay.
we'll skip past that one. But we've got paleo, we've got Whole30,
vegan.
We said that one.
Alkaline.
There's so many different diets, and the truth is that you could try all of them and have a level of success, but sustainable, right, success is another thing. And then not only that, right, you could have success on one diet. I try keto, and it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's kind of a get it because they don't eat bread on keto. Okay.
Boom.
But
she wasn't gonna stop until so
acknowledge it.
I'm funny. All right, let's go.
But you could have another person who tries keto and gains weight, right? And it's all about your bio individuality. What diet is going to work for me, and not even so much the diet framework, right? Because those are all frameworks. It's really freeing once you just get rid of all of those and try to figure out for yourself what your body likes and doesn't like.
So I feel like it's like, sorry to interrupt. Would you like to finish that train of thought? I was gonna say, I feel like we are, and me included, very keen to put a label on ourselves, on our diet. Like, oh, I'm pescatarian, I only eat this. Oh, I'm vegetarian, I only eat this. It's like, I think we came up with this in the car. Like, I'm a meatarian. I eat what is best for my body to eat, or better yet, like I eat what's best for my body. I don't even need to put a label on it. So there may be, times where it's like, you know what, I'm not going to eat this because I'm not feeling that right now. Yep. There may be other times in my life where I'm trying to gain muscle, trying to lose fat, trying to, gain flexibility, whatever it is. And my diet may be flexible depending on what my goal is for that particular month. But we got the visuals up. Appreciate you, Jair. So let's go through a little bit.
Yeah. So we covered that first part, right? Bio individuality means that there's not a one-size-fits-all diet. Each person has a unique, individual, and that's double wording there, but a unique individual and highly individualized nutritional requirements. So again, what my body needs may not be the exact same thing that Devon's body needs. So in bio individuality, we recognize each individual body will differ in their nutritional needs. Do I need to elaborate there? Or does that kind of make sense?
Does that make sense to y'all podcast listeners? Go ahead and, clap, give a response in the ether. I'll fill it later. But I think that makes sense. Everybody's body is different, so everyone needs different nutritional kind of aspects to it. To me, that's a pretty straightforward one.
And as of now, there's not at least an open to the public, an easy way for somebody to like, I'm just going to prick your blood and tell you everything you need to know. So right now it is a little bit like, okay, you get this test and then you get this test, which we'll go into later. But the important thing to know is there are tools available, right? And they're now readily available to where you don't even necessarily need to go through a doctor to be able to run these assessments on yourself. There's a lot of at-home things, which again, we'll get into later.
And before we head to this next point, I do want to say DNA sequencing is here.
It is.
Like, it's like we're on the cusp of DNA sequencing. We're on the cusp of being able to change aspects of your DNA. I know y'all have heard of those designer babies. Like, people are literally out there doing that. But you can do it for designer babies, which we're not going to get into. Or you can also do it to understand, truthfully, your own individual DNA, where you come from, what are foods that are good for you, what's the correct sunlight exposure that you need, like all that stuff, in my opinion, is the future of healthcare.
Yeah.
Healthcare done right, we will be able to DNA sequence you and say specifically, this is exactly what Sinclair needs based on her DNA. That is literally the future.
Yep. Rather than, I think, the typical approach and kind of what a lot of our modern medicine practices have come now has been one demographic that they did research in and then just said, this is what everybody needs.
This will work for everybody.
Yeah. You're close enough. Yeah.
There will be some side effects.
Right. But follow the general requirements, right? We're moving away from that approach and to the more individualized approach, which I think is a great thing.
Agreed.
So the last part of this quote was that those nutritional needs, they're going to be results of your internal and external factors. So things like, and one of the biggest things, if I may say, the food you eat, one of the bigger things, our emotional thoughts, lifestyle patterns, and our surrounding environment, all things that are going to determine our bio-individuality. Okay. So let's get into some different types, some different things that vary based on our bio-individuality. So just to reiterate, right, when we're talking about bio-individuality, the reason why that's...
Can I say BI?
Can we just go ahead and say that?
Please.
It's a tongue twister to be able to say for the
Listen, I'm watching you struggle every time.
BI.
All right, bio-individuality. It's a long word. If you're listening, every time we say BI, check it, BI, bio-individuality, BI. We rocking out here. Go ahead.
So the reason why we want to talk about that, and the reason why it's important, is because, again, there is no one size fits all. So you could be on what's considered to be the golden standard for health diet, right? Like a vegan, no processed food, all of this stuff. But if you have the type of body that likes animal protein, you're only going to be on that diet for so long before your body starts to deteriorate, right? And it could be, again, like you mentioned, we have seasons. We have seasons of life. You may be in a period right now where your body is fine with that. But as you get older, maybe there's an additional need for some protein from a different source that you're not incorporating right now. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Yes. But some things that vary based on your bio-individuality. One, the foods that build you up versus break you down. Okay. So that could be contributing things to that, could be allergies, could be sensitivities, and also could be your macros, right? So all of those things.
What are your macros?
Macros meaning protein, carbs, fat, like the percentage that you're eating. Those are all things that could vary based on your bio-individuality.
Gotcha.
So
BI.
BI, thank you. Based on your, that's going to take some getting used to, based on your BI, right? So perfect example, some of us can tolerate lactose better than others.
Who? Which one of y'all out there have the privilege of eating ice cream and not hurting yourself?
Those who probably come from a culture where cows were more readily, those of us with African descent, it wasn't really, dairy was not a thing over there.
Yeah, we all make the conscious choice every time to hurt ourselves.
Every time. It's okay, I'm looking at this and weighing my options here every time, right? Yeah. So that's like the perfect example, right? That has to deal with our bio-individuality. But truthfully, there are some people who probably can't eat it, right? Some melanated folks who can eat it and they're just fine. So again, that goes down to the individuality is not necessarily based on a group of people, more on the individual. Because I think there are some studies out there that show that there is more alikeness between people interracially than there are between the same race.
Interesting.
Which is interesting. Yeah. And then so we mentioned allergies and sensitivity. So obviously, if you're allergic to something, you want to stay away from that because that's only going to break your body down. But on a lesser note, right, there are also food sensitivities, which are separate from allergies, but they can still have that negative reaction. So for example, if I'm not allergic to dairy, but dairy does not like me, which means I see negative side effects after I consume dairy. That could be gas, that could be bloating, that could be dysbiosis just in my gut in general.
Dysbiosis?
Dysbiosis, meaning like it's the bacteria is off. We all have bacteria. We are more bacteria than we are human. And you want your ratio of good bacteria versus bad bacteria to be at a certain level. Dysbiosis is when your bad bacteria is higher than your good bacteria.
Interesting. And at some point, we need to circle back to this whole we're more bacteria than we are human situation. Not in this episode because I don't have the 50 minutes, but next episode, we'll talk about that because that's interesting to me.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so those are some things food-wise that are going to, and then the macros. So even we'll talk about like what assessment you can do to figure this out, but even you can have a plate, right? A plate, let's say we have a plate with some chicken, some mashed potatoes, and some broccoli, right? Okay. My requirements, if we eat the same exact plate, I could have some gas and bloating after my meal. You could be perfectly fine. Right. And not even if we were not sensitive to anything on this plate. And that has to do with the actual percentage of the macros there. So the percentage of the protein that we're digesting versus the carbohydrates on the plate.
Interesting.
Okay. So through metabolic typing, you can figure out what percentage And it's less of a percentage and more about, a percentage can work too.
I got an analogy.
Okay, you do? Oh, let's hear it.
Yes, of course I do. You over here. All right, so literally gas, when you put gas in your car, there's the 85, the 87, the 89, and that is a percentage.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's a percentage of, to be honest with y'all. Maybe the chemical engineer knows,
Nope.
but it's a percentage of ethanol to some other type of all that I'm assuming, right? And based on your car, you need a certain percentage in there. There are certain cars, Sinclair likes to think her Honda needs 87, 100%, but there are certain cars out there that literally, if you try to put some 85 in it, it will break down.
Mm-hmm.
It needs 91 or else it will break down. And I think to Sinclair's point, our bodies are the same way. Sinclair, the health nurse, she got that 91 body. So she needs, or maybe, I'm saying maybe it's 100 body. But anyway, she needs that 99, she needs that 100, whatever it is for her body in order for the gas to function properly.
Perfect example, because it's gasoline going in the car regardless, right? But it's the ratio that's important.